Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 7, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. Text 44. सरहस्यो धनुर्वेदः सविसर्गोपसंयमः अस्त्रग्रामश्च भवता शिक्षितो यदनुग्रहात्. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Abhay Charanaраvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Maharani Draupadi continued. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Dhanurveda or military science was taught by Dronacharya with all its confidential secrets of throwing and controlling by Vedic hymns. Gross military science is dependent on material weapons, but finer than that is the art of throwing the arrows saturated with Vedic hymns, which act more effectively than gross material weapons like machine guns or atomic bombs. The control is by Vedic mantras or the transcendental science of sound. It is said in the Ramayana that Maharaj Dashratha, the father of Lord Sri Rama, used to control arrows by sound only. He could pierce his target with his arrow by only hearing the sound without seeing the object. So, this is a finer military science than that of the gross military weapons used nowadays. Arjuna was taught all this, and therefore Draupadi wished that Arjuna feel obliged to Acharya Drona for all these benefits. And in the absence of Dronacharya, his son was his representative. That was the opinion of the good lady Draupadi. It may be argued why Dronacharya, a rigid Brahmana, should be a teacher in military science. But the reply is that a Brahmana should become a teacher regardless of what his department of knowledge is. A learned Brahmana should become a teacher, a priest, and a recipient of charity. A bona fide Brahmana is authorized to accept such professions. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, we have been seeing in this part of this chapter that Ashwathama was bound with ropes by Arjuna and he was presented in front of Queen Draupadi. And when Draupadi saw Ashwathama in that situation, being of Vamasvabhava, of mild nature, and she was a good woman, she was very compassionate upon Ashwathama, and she immediately said, Arjuna, please release him from this bondage. She could not tolerate Ashwathama's being bound by ropes. And in this today's shloka that we are seeing, she's saying, Saharahasyo Sarahasyo Dhanurvedaha Sarahasyaha means confidential, along with all confidential knowledge. Dhanurveda means the knowledge in the art of manipulating bows and arrows. Savisargaha, releasing. Upasamyamaha, controlling. Astra, weapons. Gramaha, all kinds of weapons. Bhavata, by yourself. Shikshitaha, learn it. Yat anugrahat, by whose mercy. So here Draupadi is telling Arjuna, it was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. So here we can see, even though it is Ashwathama who is the murderer of her sons, and Draupadi should have actually been very harsh to Ashwathama. She should have actually asked Arjuna to punish Ashwathama, to kill him, because he has killed all her five sons. But Draupadi, she is actually thinking from a different point of view. So she is giving reasons. In the previous shloka, Draupadi said that Ashwathama is our spiritual master. Why he is spiritual master? Because he is the son of Dronacharya and he is a Brahmana. Dronacharya is a Brahmana and his son is Ashwathama, and therefore he is our spiritual master. Actually, in the Vedic society, the Brahmana is considered to be the Guru, the spiritual master of the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and the Shudras. Because it is Brahmana who is always engaged in spiritual activities. He is absorbed in studying the Vedas and teaching the essence of the Vedic knowledge to everybody. In this way, he enlightens everybody in spiritual knowledge about the purpose and goal of life. Therefore, a Brahmana who is truly qualified as a Brahmana, he is considered to be the spiritual master for the entire society. Therefore, the spiritual master should not be killed. That is the argument of Draupadi. And another uh, point that Draupadi is bringing about here in this shloka is, his father Dronacharya taught you the military science. He made you the best of the archers in the world. It is because of the teachings and blessings of Dronacharya that Arjuna became such a mighty Dhanurdhari. He became a very capable bowman, archer. And his son, he must have done some mistake. That's okay. But is this the way we are going to treat him? Have you forgotten the blessings of Dronacharya? Have you forgotten his mercy upon you, which has made you such a capable warrior that you are able to control even celestial weapons? You have become ungrateful, and now you have bound his son, and in this way, like an animal, you have brought in front of me. So please do not do this. This is what here Draupadi is telling. Do not forget the mercy of Dronacharya, because of which you have actually become a great skilled in military art of controlling and throwing weapons. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, Dhanurveda means it is that part of the Vedic knowledge which deals with invoking various celestial weapons and using them by controlling them by chanting Vedic mantras. So it is not known to the modern day world. It is a lost science, we can say that. Today we only deal with gross weapons, but Dhanurveda had the Dhanurdhari had the competence of chanting mantras and invoking those celestial weapons. Srila Prabhupada gives an example in the purport about Maharaj Dasharatha. In the Ramayana, it is described that Maharaj Dasharatha, he was a very capable archer. And in fact, the very name Dasharatha means his Ratha, his chariot, had traveled in all the 10 directions, 8 directions plus up and down. These are the 10 directions, Dasha Disha. So his Ratha, his chariot, had actually gone and conquered enemies in all the 10 directions. In fact, there are mentions in the Ramayana that even the Devatas, headed by Indra, would approach Dashrath Maharaj for his help whenever they fought against the demons. That was the reputation of Dashrath Maharaj as a warrior. And Dashrath Maharaj was an expert in something called as Shabdavedi Vidya. Shabdavedi means he would actually, without even seeing the target, just by hearing from which direction the sound is coming, he could actually uh, shoot an arrow and he could actually reach the target. He could shoot the arrow at the target. That means this is a very subtle science which Dashrath Maharaj had expertised. And we know in the Ramayana, this incident comes because of this Shabdavedi Vidya. Dashrath Maharaj mistook the sound of one young man who was actually serving his parents. And Shravana Kumara, his name was. His parents were actually uh, they were deaf and they were blind. Basically, they were blind. And Shravana Kumara had taken his both his parents, old parents, for a Tirtha Yatra. He was carrying them on his shoulders, and he had gone to a river to fetch some water for his thirsty parents. And at that time, Dashrath Maharaj was in the forest. He was actually hunting animals. So he thought there must be some uh, elephant which is making this sound. So he shot an arrow, but actually it was not elephant. It was actually Shravana Kumara. And in this way, Shravana Kumara was killed by Dashrath Maharaj. And later on, he was cursed by the parents of Shravana Kumara that just like we are dying in lamentation, in separation of our son, who was the only shelter for us, who was the only person whom we were depending on in this old age. You will also, even though you will have so many sons, but none of your sons will be by your side when you are going to give up your body. You will actually die in separation of your sons in lamentation. This was the curse the parents of Shravana Kumara gave to Maharaj Dashratha. So here we see any technology or any power, when we have, we should use it very, very diligently. We cannot recklessly, we cannot use it irresponsibly. It will produce so many uh, bad effects. That is an example what Ramayana is teaching us. So here also Ashwatthama had all this knowledge, military science, by the blessings of his father Dronacharya. But Ashwatthama misused all those powers. That is why he is condemned by Lord Krishna himself. He should have used all this military science for the betterment of the world, for protection of those who are dependent on him. But instead, he used it for his selfish motives. He used a weapon that is Brahmastra, which could actually produce a mass scale devastation in a reckless manner. So, anyway, so here Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport about Dashrath Maharaj to tell us that in the ancient days there were much more advanced methodologies of warfare than that which is known to the modern man, right? So Prabhupada says it's a finer military science than that of the gross military weapons used nowadays. So the argument of Draupadi is that in the absence of Dronacharya, his son Ashwathama is the representative of Dronacharya. Hmm? Therefore, he should not be treated in this way. He should not be punished. That is her argument. Hmm? So, in the purport, Prabhupada is also mentioning why did Dronacharya, even though he was a Brahmana, why did he become the teacher of military science? Prabhupada writes that it was allowed for the Brahmanas to actually become a teacher regardless of the branch of knowledge, right? So, Yajana, Yajana, Patana, Patana, Dana, Pratigraha. These are the six Shat karmas of a Brahmana as prescribed in the Vedas. Yajana, Yajana, worshipping the Supreme Lord and helping others to worship the Lord. Patana, Patana, studying the Vedas and teaching this knowledge to others. And Dana, Pratigraha, giving charity and accepting charity. These are the six karmas or six occupational duties prescribed for the Brahmanas. So it was all right on the part of Dronacharya to actually be a teacher of military science. But then it was not all right for Dronacharya to actually become a warrior on the battlefield. That too, to support Adharma, Duryodhana. Just because Dronacharya was allowed to teach military science, that doesn't mean he can take up the duty of a Kshatriya. Okay, there are instances in the scriptures where a Brahmana has taken up Kshatriya duties. For example, Parashurama. But then he did it for the protection of Dharma. But here, Dronacharya took up this profession of a Kshatriya against the scriptural injunctions, and that too to protect Adharma, to side Adharma. Now, this is actually a condemnable activity. So, anyway, Ashwathama, Draupadi's viewpoint is Ashwathama is the son of Brahmana, Dronacharya, because of whose grace all the Pandavas have become mighty warriors. Especially Arjuna has become the greatest archer of his times. Therefore, Arjuna should not punish Ashwathama. That is the argument put forward by Draupadi. In this series of verses, we will see the different reasons Draupadi gives why Ashwathama should be forgiven. Right? Let's go to the next shloka, text 45. स एष भगवान् द्रोणः प्रजारूपेण वर्तते तस्यात्मनोर्धं पत्न्यास्ते नान्वगाद्वीरसुकृपी. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Draupadi continued, he or Dronacharya is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife Kripi did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son. Purport. The wife of Dronacharya, Kripi, is the sister of Kripacharya, a devoted wife who is, according to revealed scripture, the better half of her husband, is justified in embracing voluntary death along with her husband if she is without issue. But in the case of the wife of Dronacharya, she did not undergo such a trial because she had her son, the representative of her husband. A widow is a widow only in name if there is a son of her husband existing. So, in either case, Ashwathama was the representative of Dronacharya, and therefore killing Ashwathama would be like killing Dronacharya. That was the argument of Draupadi against the killing of Ashwathama. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, another argument that Draupadi is putting up here in the favor of Ashwathama. Sa Esha Bhagavan Dronaha. Here, Bhagavan refers to a very powerful personality. So, the word Bhagavan is reserved for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu Tattva. But whenever this word Bhagavan is used to refer to any other personality other than Krishna, it must be understood that the speaker is only offering respects to that personality, and also it means that that person about whom he is being spoken, he is a very powerful person. That is the meaning of the word Bhagavan in this context. So here it is said Bhagavan Dronaha. So one should not think Drona is the supreme personality of Godhead. That will be a mistake. That's not the way we should understand. So Draupadi is addressing Drona in that way because she thinks that Draupadi, this Dronacharya is a very respectable personality, and we should not offend his son. That is what she is saying. Saesha Bhagavan Dronaha Prajarupena Vartate. Prajarupena in the form of his son. Ja means Janayati, one who takes birth. So Praja means one who takes birth from one's own body. So in fact, children are called Praja of their parents. And in fact, it is in the same spirit that the citizens are also called Praja, because a good king should treat his citizens as his own children. That is the meaning of the word Praja. And in the Vedic conception, Praja doesn't mean only human beings. Praja also means all species of animals and birds. So a king has to treat everybody, every living entity in his kingdom, just like he would treat his own children. That is the meaning. So here, Draupadi's argument is, it is actually based on a Vedic statement that Draupadi is saying that a father lives in the form of his son. That means, like we have the saying, as the father, so the son. That means the son is actually a representative of his father. So Draupadi is saying Dronacharya is still living in the form of Ashwathama because Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya, right? So you can just see how Draupadi is actually taking the side of Ashwathama by giving various arguments. Yes, you may say that she is emotionally overwhelmed. That's why she is saying all these things. But actually, these arguments are also logically correct. So she is saying, Tasyatmana ardham. Tasyatmana ardham. Atmanaha means of the body. Ardham means half. Patni, wife. The wife is said to be the better half of the husband. And Aste, he is still living. Huh? Dronacharya is still living in the form of Ashwathama. And that is why uh, na anagavad, na anagavad. Anagavad means undertook. Virasuhu, having the son present. Krupi, the sister of Kripacharya. This Krupi, the wife of Dronacharya, did not undergo sati because Ashwathama was present. Her son is present. Therefore, she did not undergo sati. So, according to the Vedic understanding, there is this sati system. Of course, it is not forcible, it is not enforced upon the wife, it is a voluntary decision made by the wife. So, what is this sati? When the husband dies, the wife feels that now my Lord has died, he is no more there, and now what is the use of me living? In fact, I should also follow his path. And she would actually voluntarily jump into the funeral pyre and she would actually give up her body. Now, this is a voluntary system. It was never an enforced thing. Later on, In Kali Yuga, it became an enforced thing because people misunderstood this. In fact, there are instances in the Mahabharata itself, just like this wife of Dronacharya. She did not undergo sati because she thought that now it is my responsibility to take care of my son Ashwathama. And Ashwathama is a representation of my husband. Therefore, I cannot give up my body. So she did not actually perform sati. She did not give up her body along with her husband. So, another example in the Mahabharata is Kunti Maharani. When Maharaj Pandu passed away, Kunti Maharani stayed back to take care of her five sons. While Madri said, see, again, it was the decision of Madri, the second queen of Pandu Maharaj. She said that it is because of me that Pandu Maharaj has died, hmm, and therefore I will voluntarily give up my body. So she underwent sati. And she also said, now if I stay back, Kunti said, no, 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 I am the elder wife, so I will do sati. But Madri said, no, oh my dear sister Kunti, you have a very big heart. You don't do partiality between my sons and your sons. But I am not like you. So I may do partiality between my sons and your sons. Therefore, better you should stay back and take care of all the five Pandavas, and I will go along with Maharaj Pandu. Saying this, she actually jumped into the funeral pyre of Maharaj Pandu. So, from this, we understand that this was never a enforced ritual that a wife has to die after the husband. No, it is not like that. So, it was a optional thing, and it was based on the wife's own decision. So, she would feel that my life is now useless without my husband. Therefore, what is the use of living? Actually, this is a very important principle that every devotee should also imbibe. Just like a pativrata in the Vedic understanding, she does only those things which are acceptable by the husband. She always consults with her husband before taking any decision. She always serves her husband with faith and devotion. In the same way, a devotee should have this kind of an approach towards the spiritual master. A devotee, a disciple, should actually do only those things which are uh, told by the spiritual master. Those things which are forbidden by the spiritual master, a disciple should never even think of doing. A disciple should only uh, dedicate his activities for the service of the spiritual master. So this is the concept. The principle is to be vrata. Vrata means to be dedicated. So pati vrata means the wife is fully dedicated to the service of the husband. In the same way, a shishya should be guru vrata. He should be fully dedicated to the for the pleasure of the spiritual master. Only that which is pleasing the spiritual master, a disciple should do. So that is the way. That is the thing that we should learn. So here, so uh, the argument that Maharani Draupadi is saying is that so Kripi, the wife of Dronacharya, did not undergo sati because Ashwathama is there. So, and Ashwathama is a representative of her husband. So, killing Ashwathama will be same as killing Dronacharya. We have already killed Dronacharya without any option on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now, let us not do the same thing now. That is what she is saying. So, she was against killing Ashwathama. Let's see, there are some more arguments that Draupadi Maharani puts forward. Let us see that. Text 46. तद्धर्मज्ञ महाभागा भवद्भिर्गौरवं कुलम् Vrijinam narhati praptum pugyam vandyam abhikshnasaha. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Maharani Draupadi continued, O most fortunate one who knows the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. Purport. A slight insult for a respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. Therefore, a cultured man should always be careful in dealing with worshipful family members. So, Tad dharmagnya means knower of principles of religion. So, Draupadi is addressing Arjuna in this way. You are a dharmagnya. You are well aware of the principles of dharma. And you are Mahabhaga. You are most fortunate. Why is Arjuna most fortunate? Because he has Krishna as his dear friend. Anybody who has Bhagavan with his side, he is actually called Mahabhaga. He is the most fortunate. One who is a devotee of the Lord, he is called Bhagavata. Bhagavata means one who is related to Bhagavan. So Arjuna was not only a devotee of Krishna, but he was also a dearmost friend of Krishna. Therefore, he is definitely the most fortunate person. So Arjuna is referred to as Mahabhaga by Draupadi. Bhavadbhir Gauravam Kulam. Bhavadbihi, by your good self. Gauravam means glorified. Kulam means family. Vrijinam means that which is painful, that which causes grief. Vrijinam, na arhati. You do not deserve to do such a thing which will cause grief and pain to such a respectable family. Kulam, the family of Dronacharya. Praptum Vandyam Abhikshnashaha. In fact, this family, it is so respectable. It deserves what? It does not deserve to be given pain. It deserves, its family members deserve pujyam, worship, and vandyam, they are respectable. Abhikshnashaha, constantly, always they should be respected. In every circumstance, they should be respected. So you can understand the the mindset of Draupadi here. She is as though she has forgotten the grief of her own uh, uh, the death of her own children. She is now taking the side of the murderer, and she is giving all these reasons. Oh Arjuna, you are a knower of principles of dharma, and it is not good for you to cause pain to such a glorious family as that of Dronacharya, because such a family is always to be respected and worshipped. This is her argument. So sometimes what happens, it is better to let go than to hold grudge and revenge in our heart. Not sometimes, always. This is what Draupadi Maharani is teaching us. Okay, even if you kill this Ashwathama, will our dead sons come back to life? No. And then you will get Brahmahatya dosha also. On top of that, you are getting a reaction that you have killed Ashwathama, even though he is a Brahmana, and our sons will never come back to life. On the contrary, Dronacharya's wife, Krupi, will suffer so much. She will suffer so much. In fact, she is living only because of Ashwathama. She should have died long ago when she got to know that her husband has been killed on the battlefield. She did not undergo sati. She is living only for Ashwathama. And now, when you kill this Ashwathama, this Dronacharya's wife Kripi will also become devastated. So, why to actually keep this grudge in your heart? Not required. You should have kshama. Kshama means forgiveness. In fact, kshama is one of the divine qualities. To err is human, to forgive is divine. Every human being makes a mistake, but it only takes a person who has a divine quality of forgiveness to have a big heart and let go the offenses done by the other person and forgive that person. When you forgive others, Kshama in the Ramayana, it is described as Kshama Dana. Kshama is the greatest charity. Generally, people give charity to get punya, to get some pious credits. But when you give kshama, when you give forgiveness, this charity of forgiveness to others, what happens is you get peace of mind. You make your heart calm and composed. And uh, this is the best way. It is the most sustainable practice. Mahabharata, this Mahabharata and Ramayana, both of them say that it is if everybody starts taking revenge against everybody for every small mistake that the other person does, then the whole world, nobody will be remaining. Everyone will die. It's not a very good thing for the whole world. But of course, we should never forgive the wicked people. Weak people can be forgiven. If somebody does a mistake out of weakness and he is also feeling repentful for his activity, definitely such a person will be forgiven, should be forgiven. But a wicked person, wantingly, if somebody commits harm, he is a atatayi, as we have discussed in one of the purports before. Atatayi means a terrorist. Wantingly, if someone goes and sets fire on somebody's house, or somebody loots others' wealth, or somebody insults others' wife, all these kind of things, according to the Artha Shastras, the scriptures, such offenses should never be forgiven. So the difference between a weak person and a wicked person is a weak person does it out of his weakness, unintentionally, accidentally he offends, whereas a wicked person makes a grand plan to cause miseries and cause difficulties and damage to the other person. Such a person is wicked person. Wicked person should not be forgiven. He must be given due punishment so that he learns his lessons. So that is the principle behind the Lord killing so many demons. The Lord, whenever somebody uh, seeks forgiveness, the Lord is ready to forgive. But there are demons like Kamsa, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu. These people, they were actually blinded because of their power. They thought they could do anything because they're very powerful. They were offending, they were harassing, killing the innocent people. And they were not ready to introspect whether they were right or wrong, even though many opportunities were given to them. They never introspected. So they are called demons. A demoniac person is never should never be forgiven. But when a person is doing some mistake due to some weakness in a weak moment, then the Lord is always ready to forgive. In the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, we see an example for this. The Lord says, Apichetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha. Krishna says, if my devotee, due to past conditioning, if he is engaged in the most abominable activity, still he must be considered a sadhu because he is doing it as an accident. He's accidentally falling down. It's not that intentionally. Because of past conditioning, he is performing some sinful activities. I'm ready to forgive such a person as long as he's situated in devotional service in the association of my devotees. Because Krishna says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shanti nigachati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. In the next verse, Krishna says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. It is just a matter of time. Very soon, this person will become a dharmatma. Hmm? It is out of that. Prabhupada gives an example that if you turn off the fan by switching off, it's not that the fan will come to rest immediately. It will make some more rotations before actually it comes to rest. In physics, this is called inertia of motion. It takes some time to actually come to rest. In the same way, a person might have taken up Krishna consciousness. He is trying with all his strength to keep away from sinful activities. But because of his past habits, he may be still performing some sinful activities unwantingly. So, unintentionally, accidentally, he may fall down from the standard of being a good devotee. But Krishna does not consider those such accidental fall downs. He actually forgives. So Krishna is that's why called he's a Karuna Sindhu, he's an ocean of compassion. But we should not take this statement of Krishna for granted, and we should not think that, oh, anyway, Krishna is all forgiving, he's very merciful. I can go on chanting Hare Krishna, I can go on serving Krishna. Side by side, I can make my own schemes and plans to commit more and more sinful activities. No, then that is called intentional fall down. An intentional fall down will never be excused by the Lord. So we have to understand. So even in our life, when somebody accidentally, unintentionally offends us or says something, we should have a big heart and forgive. And in fact, a devotee forgives even the biggest offenses. Here we see in the Bhagavatam, we see how Ambarish Maharaj forgave the offense of Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni unnecessarily picked quarrel with Ambarish Maharaj. He created a demon, fiery demon, to kill Ambarish Maharaj. But then Ambarish Maharaj did not say anything against Durvasa Muni. He forgave him. That is the quality of a devotee. A devotee forgives because that is Krishna's quality. He because he is a devotee, he inherits Krishna's qualities. But mean-minded people, narrow-minded people, those who have not yet developed a mind, a broad perspective about life, they keep grudge in their heart, vengeance. Because a devotee knows if I keep grudge and vengeance in my heart, Krishna, who is seated in my heart, will not like that. Krishna will leave and go. So I have to keep my heart free from all these impurities. Therefore, I should not maintain any grudge, animosity against anybody. So that is what Draupadi Maharani is teaching us here. She is ready to forgive the greatest offense that Ashwathama has done. Seeing the face of his mother, uh, Krupi, right? Let's go to the next shloka, text 47. मारोदिदस्य जननी गौतमी पतिदेवता यथाहमृतवत्सार्ता रोदिम्यश्रु मुखि मुहुः. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Draupadi continued, My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. Purport. Sympathetic good lady as she was, Srimati Draupadi did not want to put the wife of Dronacharya in the same position of childlessness, both from the point of motherly feelings and from the respectable position held by the wife of Dronacharya. Ma Rodit, Rodi, Rodana means to cry. Ma Rodit, do not make her cry. Hasya Janani, his mother, Gautami, Gautami is another name of Krupi, the wife of Dronacharya, because she appeared in the lineage of Gautama Rishi, she is referred to as Gautami, the wife of Drona. Pati Devata, she is actually considering her husband to be her lord. So she is Pativrata, chaste. Yatha Aham, Aham, just like me, Mrita Vatsa. Mrita means dead, Vatsa means children. Just like I am lamenting now, I am crying for my dead children. Please don't make this Gautami, this Kripi also lament, cry like me. Ah, Mrita Vatsa, one whose child is dead. Artha Rodimi. Artha means distressed. Rodimi means crying. Ashrumukhi, tears in her eyes. Muhuhu, constantly. So she should not cry constantly like me. So this is a very important quality. Vaishnava is paradukha dukhi. A Vaishnava is sympathetic and empathetic towards others. Sympathy means to feel bad when others are going through difficulties. Empathy means to actually see the world from the other person's point of view. So here both these qualities are displayed by Draupadi. She is sympathetic because she knows that it is very painful to lose a child because she herself has gone through such a misery. Earlier, when Abhimanyu was killed on the battlefield, even though Abhimanyu was not the direct son of Draupadi, she was actually the son of Arjuna with Subhadra. He was actually the son of Arjuna and Subhadra. But still, Draupadi lamented, Draupadi cried so much. So she has many experiences of this. So she is, Prabhupada is saying, sympathetic good lady. She is a sympathetic good lady. At the same time, Draupadi is empathetic because she says, just like I am going through miseries, Ashwathama's mother should not go through the same misery. This is a very important quality. Many times, we only see the world situations from our point of view. What is favorable for me, only that I will do. Others, let them go to hell. I don't mind. This is not the this should not be the vision of a devotee. A devotee should always see when others are put into this situation, they will also go through difficulty, they will also experience misery, just like me. Uh, Atmavat sarva bhuteshu. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu. A devotee should think that just like I go through difficulties, others also will go through the same difficulties when they are put in such a condition. So let me not put others into difficult situations. This is the way. Just like I don't want miseries in my life, let me not give miseries to other living entities. This is a very important principle. So, mm, here, uh, Draupadi is actually out of her motherly feelings, and also because uh, this the wife of Dronacharya, she is from a respectable family. It is not good to offend her. It is not good to put her into difficult situation. She is saying, let us not kill this Ashwathama. I don't want his mother to actually cry like me constantly. So, actually, in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, a very nice point is mentioned by Narad Muni in the 10th chapter. That's a chapter about Damodar Leela. There it is mentioned. When Narad Muni cursed the sons of Kuvera, there, Narad Muni, before cursing, he thinks what kind of a situation I should put these sons of Kuvera into. Because right now, they are mad, they are proud because of their good birth and because of their wealth that they have received from their father. So they are not able to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. Even though a sadhu like me is standing in front of them, they are unmindful. They are actually still naked and they don't consider that they are not able to understand how to behave in front of a devotee. So therefore, Narad Muni was thinking. So Narad Muni is one of the thought process is described in the Bhagavatam. Narad Muni thinks when a person is in a poverty-stricken condition, he never gives pain to others because a poverty-stricken person knows the pains of this material existence. He himself goes through the miseries of hunger, thirst, poverty, humiliation, and all of these things. He has experienced it firsthand. Therefore, generally, a person who has risen up from a poverty background, when he is in a good position, he generally tries to help those who are in a impoverished condition because he knows what it feels to be like a poor person, isn't it? We have seen many examples like this. Many social workers, they say that when I was a student, uh, my parents could not afford to send me to a good school. I could not have good uniform. I could not have good books. I had no good facilities. But now I'm in a good position. I want to help others who are struggling. I want to help the students from an impoverished condition. That's what they say. So this is called empathy. They have gone through that kind of a hardship, and they understand the pains and pleasures of another person. Whereas a person who is always in a rich family background from the beginning of his life, he's always living amidst luxuries. It is very difficult for such a person to appreciate the pains and pleasures of other person generally. That's what Narad Muni says in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Therefore, he says, now these sons of Kuvera, because they are spoiled sons of a rich father, so they have lost their purpose of life. They think sense enjoyment is the goal of life, and they don't know how to respect and receive a sadhu. So I should put them in such a condition that they will actually realize the importance of human life. They have got human life, but they are not using it for self-realization. They are not using it for association with devotees. They are misusing in sense gratification. Now I should put them in such a condition that they will understand how valuable human life is. So thinking like this, Narad Muni curses them to become trees. You see, a tree is a living entity, but it is as good as a dead object because it cannot move and its consciousness is very, very underdeveloped. Uh, it can't even experience pains and pleasures. But Jiva is there, the soul is there within the tree's body. So, all through the life of a tree, the tree is able to, the tree has consciousness, but not as advanced as other species of life. But it is able to experience pains and pleasures, but it is not able to express it. So much so that when somebody goes and cuts a tree will not even protest. Suppose if you are trying to kill an animal, even a cat or a dog, it will resist, it will defend, it has that much advanced consciousness. But a tree cannot even say anything in its for protecting itself, in its defense. That is the kind of situation of a tree's body. Because these two sons of Kuvera, they are living like trees, naked bodies. Now let me put them into a naked condition. Tree. You have to simply stand in the open sky, open space. You have to tolerate scorching sun in the summer. You must tolerate harsh cold in the winter season. You must tolerate rain and thunderstorms during the rainy season. Hmm? So you had a desire to expose your body. Now, okay, you can become tree. So this is how Narad Muni thinks. And then he says, you become a tree, both of you become trees. So the point there I was trying to say is a person who is in a poverty stricken condition can understand the pains of another poor person. A person who has himself experienced, uh, suppose you are walking on the road, this is the same example that Narad Muni gives there. If you're walking on the road and your foot gets pierced with a thorn, what will you do immediately? The person who is walking behind you, you will tell him, oh, be careful, here is a thorn. Because you have been pricked by the thorn and you have experienced the pain of how it feels when your when your skin or when your body is pricked by a thorn. So you don't want the other person to also go through the same misery, isn't it? So here, Draupadi is saying, I have experienced it two times. Once when Abhimanyu died, and now when these my five sons have died. I have experienced what it feels like to be crying in front of the dead bodies of her sons. I don't want the wife of Dronacharya, Krupi, to also go through this pitiable condition. So that is her reasoning. Next shloka, text 48. Yaihi kopitam brahmakulam rajanyair ajitatmabihi tatkulam pradahatyashu sanubandham shucharpitam. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Draupadi continued, if the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon all. Purport. The Brahmana order of society, or the spiritually advanced caste or community, and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by the other subordinate castes, namely the administrative kingly orders, the mercantile order, and the laborers. So, what is the reason Draupadi is giving in this shloka? Yaha kopitam brahma kulam. Brahma Kulam means the order of the Brahmanas, the Brahminical community. Kopitam, if they become enraged. Rajanyahi, by the administrative order, by the kings, by the Kshatriyas. Ajita Atmabihi, Ajita means unrestricted. Tat Kulam Pradahati, such a Kshatriya family will get burnt up. Ashu, in no time, quickly. Sa Anubandham, along with their family members, Shucha Arpitam, being put into grief. So she's saying, if we offend the Brahminical class by killing Ashwathama, what will happen? By their rage, by the anger of the Brahminical society, community, all of us, the Kshatriyas, along with our family members, will all get burnt up to ashes very quickly. So better we should not kill this Ashwathama. So this is another example, another reason Draupadi is giving why we should not kill Ashwathama. She's saying the Brahminical society, the Brahminical community, they're very powerful. huh? Their power is not based on weapons and physical strength. Their power is their following of dharma, uh, their uh, their austerity, tapasya is their shakti. And by their, if we offend them, then they will become angry at us and they can burn us to ashes along with our family members. Therefore, let us not kill. So, this is another reason that Draupadi is giving here. So, basically, she is not wanting Ashwathama to be punished, hmm, even though he is the person who has murdered her own sons. Let us see what happens after this. Text 49. Suta uvacha dharmyam nyayam sakarunam nirvyalikam samam mahat raja dharmasuto rajnyaha pratyanandadvacho dvijaha. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Suta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity. Purport. Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was the son of Dharmaraja or Yamaraja, fully supported the words of Queen Draupadi in asking Arjuna to release Ashwathama. One should not tolerate the humiliation of a member of a great family. Arjuna and his family were indebted to the family of Dronacharya because of Arjuna's learning the military science from him. If ingratitude were shown to such a benevolent family, it would not be at all justified from the moral standpoint. The wife of Dronacharya, who was the half body of the great soul, must be treated with compassion, and she should not be put into grief because of her son's death. That is compassion. Such statements by Draupadi are without duplicity because actions should be taken with full knowledge. The feeling of equality was there because Draupadi spoke out of her personal experience. A barren woman cannot understand the grief of a mother. Draupadi was herself a mother, and therefore her calculation of the depth of Kripi's grief was quite to the point. And it was glorious because she wanted to show proper respect to a great family. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, when Draupadi spoke these things that we should not kill Ashwathama, Yudhishthir Maharaj was also present there, who is Dharmaraja, who is the who is the son of Yamaraja. So he himself also supported the statements of Draupadi. Why he supported? Because Suta Goswami is saying here, Dharmam, it was Dharmyam, it was according to the principles of Dharma, whatever she spoke. And it was Nyayam, it was also according to the principles of justice. And Sakarunam, the words spoken by Draupadi were full of mercy. Nirvyalikam, it was without duplicity. It's not that as a formality, externally Draupadi is speaking all this and internally she had grudge against Ashwathama. No, she was not like that. She was a straightforward woman. She had no duplicity. It was nirvyalikam. Nirvyalikam means without duplicity. And it was samam. It was with equity. Just like I am facing misery, I am experiencing misery because of the loss of my sons. I don't want Kripi to experience the same miseries. This is called equity. Now, this is a very important principle, as we have already discussed. It is because of this principle that we should not indulge in animal killing. When a thorn pricks our body, we feel pain, isn't it? In the same way, when the animal is being tied and cut, won't the animal feel pain? It will also feel pain. So I don't want to get pain, but other living entity should suffer pain for the pleasure of my tongue and my belly. Now this is not equality. This is not samam. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. A person who is in real knowledge, he treats everybody equally. So, so her words, Draupadi's words, also demonstrated this samatva, equality. I am suffering because of the loss of my sons. Ashwathama's mother should not suffer like me. This is samam. Mahat, Mahat means they were glorious. See, these are all there are six qualities of Draupadi's words mentioned here. It was dharmyam, it was according to the principle of dharma. It was nyayam, it was based on justice. It was sakarunam, it was full of mercy. And it was nirvyalikam, without duplicity. It was samam, equality. Mahat, it was, these words were great, glorious. Because of these six qualities of the statements of Draupadi, Raja Dharmasuto, the Dharmasutaha means the son of Yamaraja, Raja, the king, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Rajnyaha, of the queen, by the queen, Pratyananad, he supported Vacho Dvijaha, O Brahmanas. Sutta Goswami is addressing the Brahmanas, sages of Naimisharanya, and he's saying, O Brahmanas, because Maharani Draupadi's words had these six qualities, the son of Yamaraja, who always upholds Dharma, Yudhishthir Maharaj, supported her viewpoint. So here, Dharmaraja, Yudhishthir Maharaj is not supporting Draupadi just because she is his wife. No. He is supporting her statements because they were in accordance with Dharma. It was full of compassion. It was based on justice. They were glorious statements. So when we are supporting somebody, when we are trying to second the opinion of another person, we have to look for these six qualities. Whatever they are saying, is it in accordance with dharma? Is it in accordance with nyaya, justice? Is it showcasing compassion? Is it without duplicity? Is it talking about equality? Is it glorious? Is it great? Then we should support another person. We should support another person's cause only when that cause has one of these six qualities at least. So Dharmaraj Yudhishthira also supported Maharani Draupadi's words. One last point we'll discuss and end the session. Prabhupada is talking about equality in the purport here. All the other points we have already discussed in the previous purports also. So here Prabhupada is saying the feeling of equality was there because Draupadi spoke out of her personal experience. A barren woman cannot understand the grief of a mother. This is actually a Bengali saying. Bandhyo ke bhujibo prasava vedana. This is a Bengali saying that Prabhupada quotes. Bandhyo means one who is a barren woman, one who cannot give birth to a child. Ke bhujibo, how she understands prasava vedana. Prasava vedana means the pain of delivery. Uh, So when a mother gives birth to a child, during that time, the mother goes through some pain, labor pain. How can a barren woman understand the labor pain? That is the meaning here. The meaning of this proverb is uh, here Draupadi herself was a mother and she knew how much pain Kripi would experience when she gets to know about the death of her son. Therefore, on this basis, Draupadi was ready to forgive Ashwatthama. So we should understand uh, for a devotee, of course, now from two points of view we can see this. As a king, it is the duty to not forgive the culprit. The king should not forgive the culprit. That we have seen in one of the purports before. When a king punishes a murderer by capital punishment, it is actually a mercy on the murderer because if he is not punished that way, he will be more severely punished by Yamaraja in the hell, right? So it's a king's duty to deliver justice. But then, how a devotee should see if there is some injustice that happens for a devotee personally, a devotee should have a big heart and forgive. A devotee should simply think that whatever Krishna wants, it has happened in my life, and there is no point in maintaining grudge against anybody. I will submit this to Krishna. Let Krishna take care of this situation. Krishna knows who is right, who is wrong, and Krishna will punish. So, whenever a devotee is personally offended, this should be the attitude of a devotee. Of course, when somebody offends the spiritual master, offends the Lord, then a devotee should not forgive such a person. According to his capacity, a devotee should actually make the culprit understand that he has done wrong and he must be given due punishment. A king, if he is a king, if he is a person who is able to give punishment, he should give. Or at least the minimum that a devotee should do is at least verbally protest, verbally say that what you have done is wrong, what you are saying is wrong, it's not correct, right? So, personally, a devotee, whatever against his own self, if somebody is doing something wrong, a devotee should forgive. But if it is against the Lord or his pure devotees, a devotee should never forgive such a person. So, that is the understanding. So, let us see what happens. Now, Krishna spoke, Draupadi Maharani has spoken. Now, what will Arjuna do based on both the statements? Krishna is saying, kill Ashwatthama. Draupadi is saying, don't kill Ashwatthama. So, what will Arjuna do? That's an interesting thing that we will see in the coming sessions. Thank you very much for joining. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.